actually, no, shut up.
No.
Can you shut your mouth for a minute?
No.
Because I actually work in the ghetto. I see the people.
Do you know why they're in that
physically go and I
position?
see these people.
Do you understand the systematic
They
and
get all
historical
kinds
reason
of
for why they're in
chances
that
and
position?
They don't care. All they want to do is be ghetto.
No.
Yes, there's
No.
some that don't, and there's good people.
No.
And then there's most of them just want to suck off the system or do something bad like drugs or gangs. And that's all
They
care
have
about.
been oppressed. They have
It
not been
doesn't
given
matter.
the
They
same
get the
opportunities
chances.
you have
yes,
had.
They do, and there's plenty of black people.
No, they
There's
don't,
plenty
Dad.
There's plenty of
And you not
minorities.
recognizing that as an issue is the reason why it's still continuing today.
I see them all over. There's all kinds of successful people that are of color. It doesn't matter what color, brown, white.
But it's a
orange,
lot harder
yellow.
for them to get to that
It doesn't
position.
matter. When they do, they're fine. But there's always filthy animals. And that
You're calling people of color black
No.
animals. You're calling them animals.
I'm talking. You didn't
Are
let me
you
finish.
kidding me?
You didn't let me finish.
That's not
I'm
okay.
talking about the
No,
trailer
no
parks,
matter what,
too.
that's not okay. No matter what, it's
It
not
is
okay.
okay.
Racism is not okay. Why do you think that racism is okay?
All right, here.
Oh, that's mine.
Billy, I'm gonna look at. No, I'm looking at
That's
statistics
my
right
medal. I
now.
gotta get a necklace.
Your statistics they can be warped. Statistics can be warped. You want me to show you videos?
So why are my?
Do you want me to show you videos of cops? I will do
why
it.
is statistics wrong?
Because they
Yours
can
are
be
right.
warped. I'm not giving statistics right now. They can be warped. Personal experiences can't.
No, because this is actually putting it into play. When you
Wearing it?
Do I need to show you a bunch of videos of cops attacking
That's your
protesters?
problem.
Peaceful
All you do
protesters.
is watch
listen,
that
listen
shit.
to this. This is the number.
You mean I'm informed and educated?
You're not though.
Yes, I
You're
am.
one-sided informed.
Mom, I was watching political stuff and you said to turn that off because you don't want to hear about it.
Because
That
I'm
means that
sick
I
of
am
hearing it.
educated on it and you are not.
I'm sick of hearing it.
The fact that you can have that ignorance,
Really?
ignorance for the majority is bliss.
Okay, so-
Ignorance for the minority
So I'm
is
looking at statistics
destruction.
that are wrong. This is just pure wrong information out there.
Just give me the statistic.
In 2017, 457 white people were shot to death by the police in the United States.
Okay.
223 were black.
76% of the population is white. 13% is black.
I
If
get that.
if they were being killed at the exact same rate by police officers, the rate of black people being killed would be 8.9, but it's not. It's 24%. The rate of white people being killed should be about where it is. So they're being killed at a higher rate. There's more white people, meaning that the amount of people killed by cops who are white would be higher.
The reaction of the person. I'm not saying
Because they're
I'm
tired.
not saying it's
They're tired
right.
of being treated
I'm
that
not
way.
saying it's right.
Good.
But if they started teaching them that this is the world that we live in, you don't want to be killed. Why do you think your friend's father taught him that?
Because
He
so
don't-
that his
that he-
black son doesn't end up dead like Tamir Rice.
Because he doesn't want him to grow up with the chip on his shoulder
He
that
doesn't
no
want
police
his black son to end up dead.
Exactly.
That's not okay. Why do you think that's okay?
Because
Why is it something that you're okay with? Why is that
I'm
a
not-
reality that you're
who's
okay
saying
with?
I'm okay with it.
But you are.
No, I'm not. I'm
So
saying
stand against it. So stand against it. If you're not okay with it, so
You
stand
wanna know
against
when I'll
it.
stand against it? When the black people in the ghetto stop carrying an illegal weapon. When the black people in the ghetto stop murdering each other.
I'll start caring about cops when they stop killing black people.
I'll start caring about black people when they stop killing cops.
Police officers, the rate of black people being killed would be 8.9, but it's not. It's 24%. The rate of white people being killed should be about where it is. So they're being killed at a higher rate. There's more white people, meaning that the amount of people killed by cops who are white would be higher.
The reaction of the person. I'm not saying
Because
it's,
they're
I'm
tired.
not saying it's
They're
right.
tired of being treated
I'm
that
not
way.
saying it's right.
Good.
But if they started teaching them that this is the world that we live in, you don't want to be killed. Why do you think your friend's father taught him that?
Because
He
so that
does-
his
that he-
black son doesn't end up dead like Tamir Rice.
Because he doesn't want him to grow up with the chip on his shoulder
He
that
doesn't
no
want
police
his black son to end up dead.
Exactly.
That's not okay. Why do you think that's okay?
Because
Why is it something that you're okay with? Why is that a reality that you're okay with?
I'm okay with it.
But you are.
No, I'm not. I'm
So
saying,
stand against it. So stand against it. If you're not okay with it, so stand
you wanna know
against
when
it.
I'll stand against it? When the black people in the ghetto stop carrying an illegal weapon. When the black people in the ghetto stop murdering each other.
I'll start caring about cops when they stop killing black people.
I'll start caring about black people when they stop killing cops.
Many of you aren't angry enough about your racist parents. You should be angry at your racist parents. Because of them, you don't know how to function in a society with people who don't look like you. Because of them, you feel isolated. You don't know how to build community. And to be clear, it is not a community if it was built on hate, right? That's a mob. You don't have a community. You have a group of people who are just as hateful as you. And that's really the only thing that keeps you connected. Communities built on hate are not fulfilling communities. And imagine never knowing fulfillment because of your racist parents. And I know a lot of young racists will say, I feel fulfilled. You don't feel fulfilled. Whatever you're feeling is not fulfillment. It is hate that has transmogrified into something that is more sustainable.
I was raised by racists, and I want to talk about how deep the racism is behind closed doors. It was so bad that I would literally get physically punished for listening to music by people of color. I was told that I needed to keep the bloodline pure, and if I was caught dating a person of color, that they would immediately disown me. I remember being as young as 4 years old and being asked why I wasn't friends with the white kids in my school and being told that those are the people that I need to befriend. Thankfully, I went no contact and I don't have to deal with their hateful beliefs anymore, but I want you to know that change is possible and you don't have to believe everything that you were taught growing up.
First of all, I just want to say, shout out to this woman. It takes a lot of courage for, a white woman to come online, speak out on their racist family, what they went through, what things they were saying, stuff like that. Because a lot of white people aren't like that. A lot of white people just rather don't care. They just rather just ignore it. They just, just refuse to not speak on it because they rather scared or they just really don't care. We need more white people like her. But y'all be calling us black people, we have victims mentality. But you got a white woman coming online saying she would get in trouble for listening to black people, music and dating a black person. She would get disowned for that. You know how racist you have to be to do that? The reason why some of you white people tell us why we have victim mentality is because you don't like when you're a group of people being exposed on racism. We're going to keep continuing to talk about it. We're never going to stop. A lot of white people teach their children racism. I have a bunch of white people telling me the same thing in person.
Can you just admit that you two are racist?
I am not racist.
You are.
And I don't appreciate you saying that to me, Haley, or your father.
Dad has said he's racist.
You saw two black people depicted as apes. That's racist. And if you're cool with it, that makes you a racist.
He tried to match people up with the animals they look like.
Just like you saying that you didn't want to hear people speaking Spanish at the Super Bowl. That's racist.
No, what that is, I don't understand Spanish. I like to listen to songs that I can understand what they're saying.
I like the music.
I'm not going to yell, y'all. I'm not going to yell.
But you understand there's like 60 million people in the United States who do speak Spanish.
I don't care.
Happy. Half should be Spanish, half should be English.
And Bad Bunny is Puerto Rican and his first language is Spanish. Why shouldn't he be able to sing his native language?
That's too bad.
This is correct. And 3.5 months ago, he told us all we better start learning Spanish. That's not very nice, is it?
I'm so sorry that offended you.
We've probably all experienced this before, but when we have some family say some off-colored racist shit, a lot of times we don't really say anything, but after a certain point, we have to speak up. And that's exactly what happened with my dad and I. We got in a conversation because he asked what I was doing to protect my parents' business against looters and vandalizers, and okay. I was like, no, I'm not worried at all because the people that are protesting, such a small portion of them are actually vandalizing or looting. So no, I'm not worried because I've been to multiple protests and experienced nothing but love and positivity. And this bootlicking motherfucker, he goes on, well, blacks and Asians are more inherently violent and their interactions with law enforcement are more likely to turn violent. And if I was a cop, I would be, a 1 in 4 chance of the situation turning more violent if I was interacting with a person of color. Excuse me? I'm not worried about my dad getting killed in the field. I'm worried that he's going to kill somebody else, and I'm going to be protesting every single day to arrest him.
Hi, I'm Kylie, and here are the top 5 ways that hatred is passed on in white families. This is definitely a topic that not a lot of white people like to talk about because they prefer to stay race neutral or at least not air their dirty laundry in public, but I do have some things that I want to say. The first way that white people pass on hatred to their kids is literally at the dinner table. I can't even tell you how many times I'd be at another white person's house growing up, and their mom or dad would say something racist and look to their kid like they made a joke and wait for the kid to react. So in that way, the racist remark serves almost as a point of bonding between the parent and the child. The second way that it's passed on is in sports, especially if a white family or a white team is playing against a team that is primarily people of color. White people will say racist things. Did you see that defender? She was really aggressive, and other microaggressions that get passed on to the child. The third way is by discouraging their children from being friends with people of color because of certain innate qualities that they may have. Number 4, moving their kids to an all-white suburb. Number 5, praising celebrities and politicians that are racist.
If you're white and you know your family's racist, stop having kids with black men, please. Now let me tell y'all why. Backstory, I'm black and white. My mom is white, my dad is black. So I live with my mom's brother, my white uncle. And him and my little sister went down to Texas to see my other uncle, who already has had a history of saying racist shit. Mind you, I barely talk to my white family. Like, most of them, you know, they on that side of the fence. So they go down to Texas to see him, and the uncle that I live with and my sister are going to get matching tattoos. And he already has a family tree of his nieces and nephews tatted. So my sister calls me and thinks it's funny that my other uncle told him, oh, since I think it's funny that you're getting your half black nieces and nephews tatted on your family tree like they're hanging off a tree. Who's laughing?
Why do some white people think that anti-racism should be left to minorities? That's a genuine question, because every time I talk about racism, I get the same comments. Why are you talking about this? Why are you speaking for black people? Stay in your lane, let minorities speak for themselves. Okay, but if racism is wrong, why would challenging it only be the responsibility of the people experiencing it? Why are some white people so comfortable expecting minorities to do all of the educating, all of the explaining, all of the emotional labor, all of the fighting, while they sit on the sidelines criticizing anybody who joins the conversation? Because that makes absolutely zero sense to me, especially when black people have been explaining racism for decades. The information is there, the history is there, the evidence is there, and at some point white people need to stop acting like racism is somebody else's problem to solve, because white supremacy was not built by minorities, so why would dismantling it be solely their responsibility? And in all honesty, some of the backlash that I've received has only convinced me more that these conversations need to happen. And if your response to a white person challenging racism is stop talking about racism, then maybe the issue isn't that I'm speaking. Maybe it's that you don't like what's being said.
The moment that I knew my mom was racist was a day where my older sister came back home, and she just seemed like there was something wrong with her. Like, she just seemed like off. And she just looked at me and said, like, Mom called a black man the N-word. And she was really like, she seemed just confused because she was a quarter black. And she always kind of struggled with her identity and like where she fit in and like how black she was. But she knew that was wrong, obviously. And then I just looked at my mom, and my mom was like, well, I didn't mean it like that. Like, I just said it so he'd stop hitting on your sister. Because he was like some black homeless man downtown. She felt the need to like completely degrade him like that. And I just looked at her, and both of us were just kind of standing there. And I was like, why would you do that? I was like, I'm black. And then she just kept saying, well, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that. And it's like, what do you mean? Like, you can't just say that word. And that's why, like, even now, like, you have to tell people, like, you can't just say that. Like, you can't just throw around that word and act like it's a lighthearted thing. Like, it was just so weird because I was like, that's everything I am. So that's what you think of me. That's what I am to you. And it was just so weird because I was like, you're supposed to be my mom. Like, the person who's, like, protects me. And I was like, you're doing that all to get a man to stop hitting on my sister? Like, you couldn't have just used other words? And it's like, people don't understand, like, the gravity of, like, when you say things like that. Like, it's not just, like, a word that you throw out there. Like, it shows a lot about your character. It shows a lot about who you are. And I never looked at her the same after that. I never did. And it makes sense, like, fast forward, like, Because my mom, like, I've already talked about it, but she gave me away when I was 5 years old, or she, like, left me with someone who was horribly abusive just because she didn't like me racially. Like, she didn't like anything about me. She had said it, like, that she was giving me away because I'm black. And I came out too black. And it all just kind of, like, clicked for me. And I couldn't stand my mom after that.
Let's talk about an uncomfortable aspect of racism. Some white people who have black children, even if they've birthed them, are racist. Yeah, not all of them, but a lot of them are. A lot of them just like to fetishize black people, thinking that, you know, I am just sexually attracted to them, but I don't have to treat them as human. I sat there my whole life watching my own mother do this to my brother. And it's really unfortunate because every single time they had a fight, what word do you think she used? I'll give you a hint, it starts with an N. And she birthed this man. She birthed this man, and she treated him like he was a dog his whole life, and still continues to do so. Why do you think that he moved 2,000 miles away immediately after college and never came back? Because a lot of white people out there just like to have black children just so that they can say they have black children. But a lot of y'all don't even want to talk about it. And again, it's not every white person, but a lot of you love to do this. For example, one time I was seeing a black guy, my mom caught wind of it, and she goes, "Oh my God, I want black grandbabies so bad." I was literally just seeing this guy. That was it. And she wanted to use black grandbabies as a trophy, to be like, "I have black grandbabies." What are you talking about? These people aren't trophies. You shouldn't treat them like, "Oh my God, it's so taboo. Look at me. I have black family." It's not like that. They're people. And it's so more prevalent than you think it is.
I went no contact with my racist father over 20 years ago, and I'm finally ready to talk about it. When my father found out that I was dating a black man, he decided to call in a family meeting. At the time, he lived about 20 hours away. He made the drive in about 15 hours. Decided to have this family meeting at our local library because you can't yell or scream at the library. I agreed to meet him, and the first words out of his mouth were something that I will never forget, and I will never be able to forgive him for. He told me that I was going to die of AIDS from fucking a primate. I'll just leave it at that. I stood up, kept my head held high, and I walked out of that meeting room and never spoke to him again. I would like to add that he has not reached out to me in the last 20 plus years as well. He is dying of what is suspected to be Lewy body dementia, and I've kind of struggled with whether or not I should reach out to him, but he hasn't reached out to me either. Not to apologize, not to make amends, for any reason, he has not reached out to me. So I think it's best that I just leave it as it is. And I'm making this video for anyone that might be struggling to go no contact with your racist family. I don't regret my decision because I have a beautiful black son. He is an adult now. I'm okay because I know that I protected him from feeling hated by someone who should have loved him and should have accepted him for who he is. I can't imagine exposing my child to someone who had that much hate in their heart just because of the color of his skin. It makes me sad that it's 2026 and there are still people in this world that feel that they are superior or that they are more deserving because of the color of their skin. But that is not something that I will ever tolerate, and I will never subject my children to. I know that if I hadn't gone no contact with my father, that it just would not have been good. So, to anyone out there who has these type of people in their family, I want you to know it's a them problem. It's them that have to reconcile their decisions and live with their choices and the beliefs that they have. And you going no contact is what's needed to protect your heart and your peace, and it's going to be okay.
My son's teacher told him that he couldn't be a victim of racism because he's white. My son's a minority in his school. In fact, he's the only white boy in his class, and that's never been a problem. Why would it be? We all bleed the same colour. We're all people. People are people. At least that's what I thought. Because he came home yesterday telling me that a group of boys from all different ethnicities surrounded him, circled around him and started chanting chicken skin at my son. He told me he felt threatened and scared, and when he finally managed to get out of that circle, he ran to a teacher, which is what I've told him to do. I've told him to do that if he's ever in a situation where he feels scared. He ran to a teacher and he told that teacher, I think they're being racist to me. And do you know what she said? She didn't go and look for the boys that did it. She didn't try and make my son feel better. She didn't sympathise with his feelings. She told him, you're white. You can't be racist to a white person. So my son's not in school today, and he will not be going back unless something changes, because he absolutely was a victim of racism. He was a victim of verbal abuse, and when he ran to a teacher for help, that teacher told him that his feelings don't count because he's white. So I've now spoken to my son about going to another school, but he's scared. He doesn't trust anyone, and now I'm left trying to explain to him that he's meant to trust these teachers who are there to protect him when they didn't. So then the only option left, because I'm not going to have my son be scared, is to homeschool him, which then means I can't work. This one action by the teacher, and I'm not even blaming the children. You know, children need to be taught better, and the people who are supposed to do that are the adults. The people there to protect us, and they didn't do it. And because of that teacher's actions, my whole life is now being affected. My son's whole life is now being affected.
Thank you for staying tuned, and thank you for watching those clips. As you can see, a heartfelt conversation is gaining attention after several young white Americans shared an important message with their family. As you can see, the lady told the parent it's time to leave old prejudices behind and treat black community with the same respect and dignity as everyone else. Some explain that growing up, they had stereotypes about black people, but their own experiences told a very different story. One young lady said, judge people by how they treat you, not by their color of their skin. Another encouraged parents to get to know people as individuals instead of holding on to assumptions from the past. This message quickly resonated online. Many viewers praised the honesty of this conversation, saying real change often begins at home, with parents and children willing to have difficult but respectful discussion. The takeaway was simple. Every generation has the opportunity to build a better future. That starts by replacing prejudice with understanding and fear with respect. If you enjoyed the story, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for more inspiring discussion and real-life story. Now, tell us in the comments, do you believe honest family conversation can help reduce prejudice and bring communities closer together? Thank you. See you in the next video.